Hey Jackals! Today we'll take a look how to make this template that shows elevation and temperature, and you'll be able to adjust the beginning and the ending of that elevation and the temperature, and the animation will also fade out, just like this. Now let's get digital. To make the effect, we'll go to the Fusion page, but before we do, we need to go to the media pool, right click, make a new Fusion composition, give it a name, and I'll change the duration to 10 seconds, make it, then put this onto a timeline, select it, and go into the Fusion page. Now the first element that I've added was a small box, so a background node, and a rectangle. Scale the rectangle down to what you want. Then we need to add some text, so add the text. And we'll add the second text, but first just find the font that you like and we'll copy this text node over. Type something in so that you know how it will look like, and this is just a temporary text so that you find the font that you want. Then scale the font down and adjust the position. As for the animation, we'll do that last, so just put everything in the center. Now that I have the text for the elevation, I can also rename this, F2 to rename the node. I will now copy the node, paste it over, and this will be my temperature. And this will be either in Celsius or Fahrenheit, and how we'll get to that I'll show you later, but for now let's just put something in. And I have to switch the language on the keyboard if I want to put in this degree sign, because I don't know how to do it on the UK layout. So this is how it will look like. I'll just position the text to here. And as you can see, this font is not good because it doesn't have this sign. So I actually have to change the font. Now that you have this, you can focus on making the animation, and the animation will be done in the transfer node. So we'll be moving everything as one unit. I'll simply adjust the position, and this will be the starting point. And the animation will start at maybe frame 20. Keyframe the center position, and the ending will be maybe at frame 260. And maybe it will go to this height, so it will be a slow animation, and we can adjust it by going to the spline. Click zoom to fit, select both points. You can smooth them out, or maybe you can have this kind of an animation. So it goes a bit faster and then it gradually slows down once it comes to the top. Now we have to fix the numbers. We'll start with the elevation. What we want to be able to do is for the user to put in the starting number and the ending. And to do that, well, we'll use a custom tool, Control space or Shift space. I'll just keep it simple and use one value. Otherwise, it could use two values, one for the beginning, one for the ending, and then do all kinds of calculations. I've done that, but DaVinci Resolve is a little bit too slow when it comes to that kind of calculations, even though it's simple math. So that's why I'll just simply use it like this and make it display the current value. So the custom tool, I'll be using the number in 1. This will be my elevation. So we can start the animation equally at frame 20. Keyframe the value. Maybe we'll start at maybe 250 meters. And the ending animation will be, maybe this will finish at frame 270. Maybe something like that. So now to display this value in the elevation, we'll remove the text, right click, make an expression, and then inside here we can simply type in the name of the tool. This is custom tool 1 dot, and to get this value we'll have to type in number in 1 without spaces. So we have what we want, but we have a bunch of decimals. To get rid of those, I'll simply round this down by using floor, so that fixes that issue. And at the end I want to add meters, so 2 dots. That means we'll put something together, and that something will be M. So this is looking nice. Now for the degrees, I'll be using 1 decimal, and you can apply the same function to this value, but it's a little bit different because I'll also be able to switch between the Celsius and frame height. We can also start this animation at frame 20, just like this one. Since the elevation is low, it means it's going to be quite warm. So let's go with 30 degrees, keyframe this, and also stop at this frame 270. And if this is the elevation, then maybe it's only going to be 4.9 degrees. This is totally up to you. I'm just giving you an example. Put an expression here. And the expression that I'll use is this one. String.format. Then you either use double quotations or single quotations. If one doesn't work, just switch the quotations. Percentage dot a number. In this case, I just want one decimal displayed. If I wanted two decimals, simply type in 2. And F means it's a float. So that means it's a decimal. And custom tool 1 dot number in 2, which is the temperature. So currently this shows Celsius. If we want the user to be able to switch between the Celsius and the Fahrenheit, we can use a little bit of a trick. So how I've done it is with the help of a checkbox. I'll just show you in this example how this will work. You probably don't know what each checkbox is when it comes to the value. So let's connect it to this one. This one is split ligatures. So split ligatures value is 0 when it is off and 1 when it is enabled. And that is for all the checkboxes. So you can use this one, or you can go to the settings, go to the comments, right click, make an expression, or you can also use maybe this one. This one is called hide inputs. You could also make custom controls, but let's just keep it simple. So now to get the Celsius or the Fahrenheit, I'll delete this part, paste this one in. So the if statement checks is the split ligatures checkbox is unchecked, meaning it is off. Then the Celsius will be shown, and if it is checked, the Fahrenheit will be shown. So we have the Celsius, and if I check it, it shows Fahrenheit. So we now basically have the effect done. Now it's time for some eye candy. We can make this animation look nicer so that when it starts, we have some smooth edges around it. And to do that, we can use rectangle, connect it, position it to here, and adjust the soft edge. Now we have some issues with this one. A simple fix is to use another rectangle, connect it to this one, and it will hide this one. So now we have some smooth edges here. This will help with the animation, especially if you move this around, so it's not always in the bottom left corner. Now we have to fix the ending animation so that it fades out. The way I've done it is I went with a background, connected it to get a merge node, and the background is in the back. Just lower the alpha. And now in the merge node, let's say the animation will start the end at frame 280, maybe 285, and you want to animate the blend. So I'll keyframe the blend, and at the end, I'll just lower it to 0. So this is now the ending animation. Now to make the ending dynamic, so that if you stretch the clip or make it shorter, this will also adjust. Right click on the blend, insert anim curves, go to the modifier, change the custom to duration. This now means that the ending should be okay. In this case it's not, and the start is also not okay. So what we'll do is change the curve from linear to custom and simply adjust the values. So in the beginning we have to see it, just max this out. This is now visible, and at the end, this should fade out. So pull it all the way down, and it should still be visible at this point. So make a new point, drag it all the way up until it's visible. Then test out the animation, and this is looking good. What I'll do though is I'll change the animation because it should really ideally stop at this point maybe, and then have some stop time. So I'll go to the keyframes, select the transform because this is my animation, select the displace node, and simply put this keyframe here. And I have to do the same for the texts, but that was done in the custom tool. Now the other eye candy that I've used is I've used an image. Now if you want to make a macro, you should use a loader node. And then once you open it up, you will just search for the image that you want to use, but you have to have that image constantly in the same place if you want to use this macro. It displays exactly the same if I just use it like this, but it behaves differently if you make a template. Now this will be a part of the background and I want to use this as a mask. So that is why I'll use a bitmap. I'll go to luminance and make some adjustments. Now I have to merge this image and put it on the background. So I'll take a merge node like that. This will be in the back. And now I have to mask this away. So I'll use the same rectangle as a mask to mask it out. Now in the merge node, I can simply adjust the apply mode. And in this case, I'll go with overlay. And now in the background, I'll simply lower the alpha to what I want. Now if this was a solid background, I wouldn't really need it, but I can always change the color and make it a little bit different if that is what I want. And the second thing that I've added is a border to this rectangle. So I'll simply copy it, add the background. This one will be white, connect it here, and this has to be in the back, so Ctrl T. Now you could also leave it like this if you want. You could simply make this a little bit bigger, but if you just want the border and have this transparent, uncheck the solid, enable the border width. So this is what I have for now. The animation plays, comes to this point, it stops, it hangs a little bit, and then you can adjust the duration so it fades out. And in this case, the clip is 10 seconds long. So if you want to have this as a shorter clip, you can simply then adjust the duration. Now, in case you don't want to use the images, what you could do is instead of an image, maybe use a mask paint node. And in this case, you don't also need the bitmap. So disconnect it like so, connect the mask paint node, go to the brush controls, adjust the size. You can start painting over this. It won't look as good as the image, in my opinion. And then you can use the smear tool and adjust the strength to add a little bit more randomness to this chaos. So this is also an option. I'll go with the image because I think it looks nicer. And now finally, let's make the template so that you can use it in the edit page. I want to be able to change the custom tool, number in 1 and 2. This is the elevation and the temperature. Then I have the texts. I want to be able to change the font. Now previously I just enabled the font and the color and I wasn't able to change anything. So now I'll also show this part, the style, and see if that fixes the issue. And as for the temperature, same issue. And I also enable this option. So custom tool 1, elevation, temperature, the background. So I can change the background of this one. So it's not just black. And maybe the rectangle. So it is either a border or a solid field. Then select all of the other nodes in the composition. And with all of the nodes selected, except the media out, right click on the last one, this one being merge tree, macro, make one. Now as you can see, custom tool is set to output. If you leave this option enabled like I did previously, the custom tool will be connected to the media out, not the merge. You don't want that because in that case the template will not show anything up. The merge tree is set as output, so that's okay. Now in the custom tool 1, I want to be able to change the number in 1 and 2. Change what this will say to elevation and temperature. Then I have the elevation text. So previously I only enabled these options and nothing worked. So this time I'll also enable this one. Then I have the temperature text. Same thing. I'll enable everything up to the size. But in this case, I also have to enable style can split ligatures. That will be to show either the Celsius or the Fahrenheit. So also change this text. So that is done. Next I have the background one. In this case I just want to change the color. And then I have this rectangle 1, which I just need the solid so that either the solid or the transparent part will be visible. So find the solid and I'll just type in solid or border. Then I think everything else is pretty much as is. I'll go to File, Save as Group, Fusion, Templates, Edit, this will be a title, and I'll simply save this one as 1, Temps and Elevation, save it, close it, and when you go back into the edit page, you should see the template under the effects when you type in the name. If you don't see it, you'll have to restart DaVinci Resolve. Now let me put this template in. So we have a good start, so extend it. This works. If I extend it even more, it should also fade out. And it does. Now let me see, can I change the text now? I can. So I did need to enable the style, even though I don't want to change this expression. The same for this one, and the same for size, okay? So everything works. Then I have this Celsius or Fahrenheit. Cross my fingers. Awesome. And let's see, what is this background? So this is the one for changing the color. And a solid or border is this rectangle that has the white border. So everything works like it should. Oh, as for the values, how do you change them? As you can see, you only have two values, obviously. So click on this arrow. This is the starting value. So you'll just set the elevation at the starting value. Also the degrees, maybe 5 degrees. Then click on one of these two arrows and change the value here. And also change the value here. Let's go with the minus. Awesome. Just like we wanted. And that's it. If you found the video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification icon to know when my next video comes out. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackals, keep it digital.